Racing's holiday weekend is full of work, a lot of speed, and sometimes the going can light one's fuse. There are plenty of fireworks ahead on RPM tonight. Kart brings its display to Cleveland's runways. Roberto Moreno's been the brightest sparkler. Will he dazzle or frazzle under the weight of the kart points lead? F1 has a bash in France. Yes, we said bash, but when the dance was done, did the Ferrari Goliath conquer, or did David come with slingshots loaded? The Busch Bunch gets a taste of old Milwaukee. For some, it was bitter beer face. Jeff Green hoped it would be sweet enough to extend his edge in the standings.
It's come a long way.
Actually, it's come to halfway in the Winston Cup struggle. We'll check out who has the big mo and who's in a hole. So put it in park, because you absolutely, positively cannot miss RPM tonight.
Going green, this time 5, going green, this time 5. Bring them down.
Hi there, glad to have you with us on RPM tonight. I'm Reese Davis. Coming up, we look ahead to the second half of the Winston Cup season and see what we can learn from the first half. Well, let's start with the Champ Cars. In the first 8 kart races, there have been 7 different winners, none of whom led the point standings. That distinction belonged to Roberto Moreno on the pole for the first time, 15 years after his first kart race, and he told us this morning it bothered him not one iota that he'd yet to win. A little prescient, perhaps? Off to Cleveland, Burke Lakefront Airport put up cones trying to avoid wrecks in the first turn. It's an airport runway. Why didn't they get some air traffic controllers or something? Of course, then again, if they did, maybe this would have happened. First turn, racing deals, tearing up the grass immediately. Juan Montoya, Max Pappas, about 7 others off course. It looks like a car lot there. Cones didn't work, I guess. Maybe the air traffic controller is a pretty good idea. On lap 11, Mark Blundell, Dario Franchitti battling for position, and Franchitti locked the brakes, and Blundell into the tire jungle where we sell tires for less. Still early in the race, Roberto Moreno out front. Look at that car shaking all over the place on the rough track. It would take its toll on some. On lap 40, Paul Tracy. Well, he's been having some trouble lately. Forced out of the race. He'd already gone to his backup car in qualifying. A gearbox problem here. Max Pappas had a package that absolutely positively had to be there tomorrow. Maybe it was David Letterman's top 10 list or something. Come to rest under the FedEx plane. 34 laps to go. Adrian Fernandez, trouble getting fuel in the car, and certainly that'll get you beat. Gilles de Ferran, trouble with his brakes all day long as Mauricio Guzman finds out the hard way. De Ferran out of the race, and Team Penske's hot streak a little bit cooler now. On the last lap, back to the guy up front. It is Roberto Moreno in control. He got his first pole, and he gets his first win at Cleveland, all in the same weekend.
Do it fast so we can get on TV. We need you to get in there fast so we can get on TV.
Okay, we're putting him on TV. Marlo Clane's going to put him on TV again in a couple of minutes. He'll probably kiss Marlo or something. Probably would have kissed me if I'd been there. I'm glad I wasn't there. Moreno gets it done. He led 91 of the 100 laps and picked up his first kart win. The top 3 guys with the best finishes of their career. Kenny Breck, his 4th top 5, all coming in the last 6 races. Cristiano D'Amato also his 4th top 5 of the season. Andretti just missed his 6th podium finish at Cleveland. Carpentier's 4th top 5 in his 6 races this season. The defending champ, Juan Montoya, was in 6th, but the man with the crown now is Roberto Moreno, and he's with Marlo Clane as promised.
If you thought there was a lot of screaming in the Blair Witch Project, you did not hear anything until you heard your reaction after you won this race. There was a lot of screaming on the radio, Roberto.
Yeah, I was over the moon with the situation, especially winning this way that the car was competitive all the way through. The Vision crew did a fantastic job. My engineer, Ed Naffman and John Wood, thank you very much for the good car you gave me. The setup we did in qualifying yesterday worked. I'm particularly pleased because we showed speed and we confirmed that the spin yesterday in qualifying that stopped on the red flag was not on purpose. Our car was quick. It deserved the pole, and we deserved to win this race. So I'm so thrilled that I had the opportunity to get to here. I have to thank you, so many people that trusted me and believed in me when nobody did, to get to this point all through those 12 years of my career. Thank you ever so much for everything.
At 40 41, Roberto Moreno is now the oldest first-time winner in kart. A poster boy for the over 40 set.
I told you she'd get kissed. Jimmy Vasser led 6 laps and finished 8th. Brian Herta drives Mo Nunn's machine to a top 10 finish. He led a lap along the way. Big Mo, last guy on the lead lap. Norberto Fontana, a couple things. Best finish of his career. He and Blundell, the last guys left driving their cars around the course. Only 12 of them finished. One guy who did finish, Cristiano D'Amato, and what a day he had.
I'm happy with the result, of course. The way it came to us, it was very difficult because of the incident I had on the start. I had to come from last. So I'm happy because of that. But I know that I could have finished better.
Robert has always been a very quick driver. He drove Formula One, and everything he's driven, he's been very fast. So I'm not surprised he's the winner, you know. And I just hope the next time is me and he's second.
Moreno gorged himself on points. He gets the maximum, 22, won the pole, won the race, led the most laps, fattens his lead up to 22. It had been just a single point coming in. Look who's in second, Michael Andretti sitting there. Well, the 70th time was the charm for Roberto Moreno, and it appears that it's no fluke. A 41-year-old who says he's recapturing the form he showed in his 20s will revisit Roberto Moreno's day later in RPM Tonight. Well, last year at Milwaukee, Jeff Green had the race all but won. Until then, 18-year-old Casey Atwood put an Earnhardt or Mayfield-esque on Green's rear bumper and slipped by for the checkered flag. Green told us on RPM Tonight Saturday he'd forgotten the incident and just hoped no one could get to his rear bumper on Sunday. Prescience going around among our weekend RPM guests? Like Roberto Moreno, perhaps Green had a feeling. Points leader, Jeff Green dominated early. We're on board with Jason Schuler, and he watches as Buckshot comes in. And if you've been injured in an accident, get money for your pain and suffering. Call a lawyer. Crewman was uninjured, thankfully, or else we wouldn't be joshing about it. Lap 51, the rain comes down, the blowers are out. A 31-minute rain delay. Lap 110, we have some trouble. Bill Parsons nudged by Todd Bodine. Parsons spins, and he's in reverse. Inside wall. Leaders pit under caution. Kevin Harvick beats Green out of the pits. Harvick takes the lead. But on lap 114, here comes Jeff Green. Rubbin's racing, son. It goes by him on the inside, and Green with the quick car, the 10's out front again. Won from the pole a couple of times already this season. Lap 197, here comes the rain again. Beating on my heart like a melody, causing the second yellow to come out. Green momentarily lose the lead, but it didn't last long. He would pass Jeff Purvis, took it back, and Jeff Green roared away to victory. He dominated this thing, led 210 of the 250 laps, and as he hoped, nobody really got close to him. Jeff Purvis' best run of the season. Randy LaJoie's first top 10 since he won in Nashville. That was about 11 races ago. Contrary to what you might have heard, it is easy being Green. At least Jeff's making it look easy with his 4th win of the year.
Well, Jeff Green's stat sheet is beginning to look a little redundant this year, but he added something new. He wins for the first time at the Milwaukee Mile. Jeff, you did it in style, dominant car all day. How does it feel?
It was just awesome. You know, I knew when we unloaded Friday or Saturday morning when we got on the track the very first time that this thing was going to be awesome, and sat on the pole, and we won practice and everything. We was fastest in happy hour, and man, that thing was awesome today in the race. I don't know if we could have made it any better. When the rain come, they dried the track off. It made my car a little bit tight, but once we got some more rubber back on the track, man, that thing turned right around the corner like it was. And man, those guys just couldn't keep up, you know. And Harold and the guys, they just really give me awesome cars each week. That thing was easy for me to drive. I think you could have drove that thing today.
That I doubt. Now, I hear that at least after the rain delay, or maybe even before that, there was another time when you weren't exactly happy with the setup. Is that right?
Yeah, just like I said, when the rain washed the rubber off of it, it just made my car push up off the corner. And that's where I was beating everybody, you know, throughout the race. And those guys took a shot at me there. Tim did, and the 4 car, yeah, he was a gentleman, and he didn't race me too hard. But Tim really raced me really hard. He had to do what he did, but he was a gentleman. And, you know, we raced clean and never laid a wheel on me or nothing. So that's what it's all about. We put on a show for the fans. I hated they had to wait so long to get the checkered flag, but sometimes that happens. But my Nesquik Chevy, I just can't say enough about it.
It's his 4th win of the season, 8th of his career. Jeff Green takes it here at the Milwaukee Mile. From Milwaukee, Dave Burns for ESPN.
Dave, thank you very much. And Green is making a mockery of the points race. He's up by 388 over Todd Bodine, barring an implosion of Kingdome proportions. Green should have this thing in hand.
I'd like to say happy birthday to my father. It's his birthday today. And this is for Adam and all his guys. That's just all there is to it.
And the King, Richard Petty, did indeed turn 63 on Sunday. We want to send out our birthday wishes to the King. We know it's been a very difficult year, but we here at RPM Tonight wish him many happy returns. Still to come here on the program, given that the Germans have a long history of running unimpeded through France, would anyone get in Michael Schumacher's way? Actually, somebody thought he was in the way, and other guys got in each other's way. The Winston Cup boys under the lights in Daytona Saturday night. We'll show you who finished up front.
RPM Tonight is brought to you by Daytona USA, the official attraction of NASCAR.
Saturday night in Daytona, the Pepsi 400, Ward Burton took the lead after the first caution, but on lap 92, here comes Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, former winner in this race. Lap 115, there goes Awesome Bill into the wall of voodoo. Mike Skinner put him there. Elliott had led 42 laps. He was in contention. Take another look at this thing, and Skinner just plows him, and Elliott ready to vote Skinner off the island. Instead, Bill's voted out of the race at that point. The restart, lap 120, Jeff Burton passes Johnny Benson, again strong in Daytona. Burton retakes the lead. Kim Burton not really looking on, kind of listening on. A few laps to go. Dale Jarrett pushing Burton, but might as well have been trying to get around Aki Bono in a phone booth. Couldn't do it. Burton takes the checkered flag, and the final lap, Kim Burton able to celebrate. Hey, be careful with that. It's going to spew. And it does. Jeff Burton wins for the first time ever at Daytona. In fact, it's the first time he's ever led a lap at the track. Dale Jarrett's bid to become the first in the modern era to win 3 straight at Daytona fell short. Rusty gets his best finish ever at Daytona as Ford sweeps the top 5 spots for the second time this season at Daytona. We're at the halfway point of the Winston Cup season. We'll look at the second half as it pertains to the points race, plus a peek at the first half and some pleasant surprises like Little E's big first half that's coming up. Well, Formula One marriages typically have the staying power of Darva Conger and Rick Rockwell, but Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard are on the verge of F1's equivalent of a golden anniversary. With Coulthard signed for next year, the two will be together for a record 6th season. Marriage is give and take. Mika's won the last 2 titles. Perhaps it's now Coulthard's turn to challenge. He's closest to Michael Schumacher to start off in France, and got real close to him here. Schumacher with one of his infamous chops and lets his teammate Rubens Barrichello comes by, and Schumacher would roar out to a big lead. So far that in 3 laps he couldn't see his teammate at all. By lap 11, Schumi was up by 5 seconds. On lap 12, this is all about teamwork or not. John Alesi, it's punted by teammate Nick Heidfeld. Alain Prost, buggers. Lap 26, no love at Jordan either. Heinz, Harold Frentzen in 6. Jarno truly wants that spot and banged a wheel for it. Back up front, Coulthard has erased the deficit on Schumacher. Lap 34, Coulthard gets the run, but Schumacher throws another block and gets a little physical as Schumacher will. And we will digitize this video because Coulthard flashed his digit.
I have to apologise for my hand gestures. That's not at all in keeping with the sport.
A bit out of sorts I was, lap 40. A daring, brazen move, and he was unerring. Coulthard goes by Schumacher, and the McLaren boys are rejoicing after that nifty move by their man. On lap 60, Coulthard had roared to an 8-second lead over Schumacher. Lap 60, things would get a little bit worse. On the hairpin turn, Schumacher, squirrely, Hakkinen overtakes his adversary in his McLaren 1-2, and then the Ferrari's engine would expire. A German's machine coming to a grinding halt in France? History doesn't always repeat. Something broke that made it go. Schumacher's day was done. Coulthard's was not. He went on to take the checkered flag, top spot on the podium, and the points that go with it. 9th career win for Coulthard, 3rd this season. McLaren coming home 1-2 for the 3rd time this season as well. As for the points, Schumacher up by 12 over Coulthard. He lost 6 points on a DQ in Brazil, and an error on the grid in Canada cost him a potential 6 points. Did it for Coulthard, but David said he doesn't. He's not ruining the what-ifs. He told F1.com, quote, "We have an old saying in Scotland, if your aunt had a mustache, she'd be your uncle." Actually, he didn't really say mustache, but I wanted to clean it up for the kids. The man who finished 10th in the F1 World Championship a couple of times, first in Cleveland on Sunday, Roberto Moreno's ascension when we come back. Kurt Busch won the trucks race in Milwaukee this weekend, but his teammate Greg Biffle stays atop the point standings. In fact, he widened his lead on Jack Sprague. Biffle finished third on Saturday, and he's now up by 82 over Sprague. Over the previous 3 years, Roberto Moreno has been racing's version of Dennis Eckersley, the ultimate reliever. But like Eck, Moreno used to be a starter, and Roberto wanted to be one again. Patrick Racing gave him his chance, and the oldest driver on the circuit is teaching the kids a thing or two. Marlo Klein has a story of a glorious weekend for Moreno.
The phrase first-time winner usually conjures up images of young lions celebrating their victories with the exuberance of youth. But as the saying goes, you're only as old as you feel. On Sunday, 41-year-old Roberto Moreno had to feel like a kid again as he collected his first Champ Car win and extended his lead in the points.
When you have a young spirit, that sort of matters. I thank you, Lord, for giving me that possibility. Yesterday, I went praying in the morning, and I got pole position. Today, I went praying again today in the same church, and I won the race. And it's just, it's superb to be with that spirit. And I really, I think I'm very fortunate to be in that situation. Age is nothing for me.
He did a great job, you know, and he's just such a colorful character, as we call him, and a great gentleman and a great person to work with. And, you know, we're really happy with the performance. And I don't think you've seen the last of him either. I think he's in a groove right now, and hopefully we can continue.
Does it surprise you someone who's 41 years old can win in this series where there's so many young lions who have obviously done it?
Let me ask you, what is 41 years old is just a baby. Maybe it's old for you, but you're a baby, so no, it's a good age.
It's a good feeling to be there halfway in the year. The championship is not finished by no means, so there's a lot to work, and we're just going to take, as we're doing, race by race and see what comes up at the end of the year.
Pat Patrick joins Roger Penske as the only two owners to have both of their drivers find the winner's circle this year. This is the first time since 1986 that Patrick Racing has achieved this feat. That year, Kevin Cogan won in Phoenix, and Emerson Fittipaldi won in Elkhart Lake. In Cleveland, Marlo Klein, ESPN.
Marlo, thanks a lot. What a breakthrough year for Moreno. In 61 starts prior to 2000, he had only 3 podiums and led a total of 68 laps. He's already got 4 podiums this year and led more on Sunday than he did in his entire career entering this season. He led 91 laps on Sunday. Prior to 2000, his best finish in the points, 14th, which came last year. They're not your in-laws. They're the world of outlaws, and they don't play by the rules, my friends. Things are a little different with the Woos. Among those who ruled the first half of Winston Cup, who has a history of following with an even better second half performance. We talk points leaders soon.
Policeman, fireman, the mayor of my town. The dude's hanging off with a paper truck. Mr. Chang, down at the local deli, sells me morning coffee, wishes me good luck. This is for the people in my neighborhood. They help me through the day and make me feel good. This spot's for you. And you and you and you. This spot's for you.
The Woos are in Knoxville. Danny Lasowski will come up on Dale Blaney and put him in the spin cycle. Blaney gets plowed by Dean Jacobs. Blaney, quite a basketball player in his day, but it's not the kind of boxing out he had in mind. Later in the race, more trouble. Andy Hillenberg, Lasowski, Brooke Tatnall all tangled up in there. Went to an outlaw race and a yard sale broke out. A lot of wings on sale for just $1.50. Just a few laps to go. Donnie Schatz is in the 15 car. He passes Stevie Smith, but you just don't pass Stevie Smith on dirt and think you're going to run away to the checkered flag, my friend. Stevie Smith wins. Schatz second. Mark Kinzer was third. The Winston Cup schedule is ballooning faster than unleaded gas prices, and the Cup guys are sitting on half a tank and ready to make their run. They'll whip into the Loudon Jiffy Lube next week to crank up the second half when, as always, the championship will be decided.
Here they come, the final sprint to the Tri-Oval. Dale Jarrett's bid for 3 straight is going to come up 1 spot short. Jeff Burton wins at Daytona.
17 down, 17 to go. As Winston Cup heads into the second half of the season, it's got a lot to live up to after one of the closest first halves in recent memory. For the first time in history, through the first 10 races, there were 10 different winners.
And he's not going to be able to do it at Richmond International Raceway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins his second NASCAR Winston Cup race.
It might have been 11 for 11 had not a pit road incident punctured Tony Stewart's rear tire and his hopes, clearing the way for Little E to become the first repeat winner of the season. In the 6 races since Richmond, Tony Stewart, Jeremy Mayfield, Jeff Gordon, and Jeff Burton joined Junior as 2-time visitors to victory lane. With the parity of the first half comes a tight points race. Just 242 points separate leader Bobby Labonte and 6th place Ricky Rudd. In second, just 52 points back, Capital E has visions of his 8th championship in his eyes, while defending champion Dale Jarrett is 76 points back in third. Of the top 6, only 6th place Ricky Rudd has yet to win this season. It's going to take consistency for anyone to overtake Labonte. Last season, over the final 17 events, Labonte averaged a 9th place finish and won 3 races, but it wasn't enough to catch Jarrett. DJ only won 1 race, but his average finish of 8th was best of the second half. Dale Earnhardt's opportunity for an 8th title is as real as ever, but he'll likely have to improve upon his second half of a year ago. Despite winning at Bristol and Talladega, Earnhardt managed only an 11th place average finish. But with past wins at 12 of the 16 remaining tracks, experience is definitely on Cap E's side.
Dale Jarrett wins the Brickyard 400 for the second time.
The Brickyard may have been DJ's only win of the second half, but nobody earned more points than his 2,588. Bobby Labonte was right behind, earning 2,564. Mark Martin, who finished 3rd in points, tallied the 4th most points, 10 behind Tony Stewart's 2,513. Stewart made the biggest jump in the top 10 in last year's second half, going from 6th to 4th. While he sits 8th in points now, keep an eye on him. He's broken out of his sophomore slump with 2 wins and 5 top 10s in the last 5 races.
Burton trying to get second.
Oh, he spins right in front of him, goes up and slams it outside ball.
Ward Burton currently sits 4th in the standings. He must improve on his second half of 1999 to stay in the top 10, much less have a shot at the title. A repeat of no wins, an average finish of 16th, and 4 finishes of 34th or worse will surely hurt Burton's chances, if not doom them, for a shot at the front table. The only driver in the top 6 who struggled more was Ricky Rudd. But with the ownership tag gone and the Robert Yates team behind him, a top 10 is more realistic. Thanks, Reese. Leading at the halfway point of the season is a good omen. Now, let me stress, we're talking minutia here. We're talking about the mathematical halfway point, not necessarily after the Pepsi 400, which is the halftime this year. Last leader halfway home, not to win the title, Davey Allison in 92. He wound up 46 points behind and in 3rd place behind the champion, Alan Kulwicki. Don't forget, Monday night on ESPN, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, and it's on ESPN. RPM tonight. You want to flip over there. There's soccer here on ESPN2. John Kernan and the fellows will be on Monday at 7. We're back after this.
Gearing Up is brought to you by Toyota. On the edge every day.
Here's your schedule for next week as we gear up. The NHRA's All-Star event, Top Fuel against the Funny Cars, and you can see it next weekend from Bristol right here on ESPN2. John Force, of course, won that showdown a year ago, and he has 5 Winston Showdown wins in his illustrious career. It's going to do it for us here on RPM Tonight. Thanks a lot for being with us. I'm Reese Davis. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
RPM Tonight is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.